Goeiedag. My naam is Hendrik en ek is onderwyser by Ocean View Hoërskool en ek kom eintlik uit die Suid-Kaap, Plettenberg Baai om presies te wees. I had humble beginnings. I grew up in a family where it was always hard times, but it was beautiful times. I cannot say one day that I felt hungry, even though we didn't have much. My familie moes groot opofferings doen sodat ek kon skool gaan en ek is baie dankbaar vir hulle. My suster moes op 'n stadium skool verlaat dat ek kon my skoolloopbaan voltooi. Just to backtrack a little bit, when I came to Ocean View High School, I was alone. I stayed with my aunt who looked after me, but there was no one to tell me, listen young man, now you have to do your homework. And you know, as in a school, we always fight with learners to do their homework, to do their schools, their chores, and to do whatever they are supposed to be doing. My folks was almost 800 kilometers away from here. And I had to know, I had to be mature, I had to stand up and step out and do what needs to be done to make my life successful. It wasn't always easy to do that because you need your mother's voice in your ear. You know, my mom had a saying, look after yourself. And that look after yourself meant so many things. I understand now. It meant be safe. It meant do what you need to do. It meant do what you're asked to do. It meant be respectful, be responsible. That encompasses so much. And today, there's a vast difference between look after yourself and what we see in real life. What do I love about this career? What do I love about teaching? You know, teaching, many people say it's a calling. Teaching is a way of life. Because if you're not a teacher, if you're not a human being, you can't be a teacher. I actually impart with this knowledge when I do my spiritual work at my church, where I am busy with the formation of aspirant parents to have the children baptized. And I teach them and I tell them that as a parent, you become the child's first teacher. You become that child's first priest or pastor. Because you as a parent have got so much responsibility put on you by God that you cannot shirk that responsibility. You cannot not do it. So you are first a parent, then you are a teacher. And so teaching is a way of life. We are just an extension of the home. The home is actually the extension of the school, if you look at it that way. Because teaching comes from home. And what I impart at school as a learner, I bring from home. Now many people will say, yeah, but that's a negative thing to say. But if you listen to what I said in the beginning, the parent becomes the first teacher. So we are just an extension of the family. Ocean View het 'n baie mooi plekjie in my hart kom word. Toe ek hier begin skool gaan, het ek onmiddellik van die plek begin hou. Want dit het 'n pragtige ligging. Each situation is beautiful. It has its own microclimate. Its a proximity to the ocean is what I am used to when I was living in Plettenberg Bay. Very close to the ocean. And I can't see myself not living at the ocean, not living close to the sea. So, Ocean View has crept into my heart. From here, we can only go higher. When I came to Ocean View, I started off at Marine in 1989, and there I came to know Mr. Jenica, the late Mr. Stoffels. I come to know Miss Oaks and Miss Maswi and others, Mrs. Jardine. Those were the people who inspired me when I worked there. and really with their work ethic, their people skills, they really made me to be like them. And when I came to the high school for the first time in 1982, there was a gentleman here by the name of Mr. David de Story. That gentleman was the last person that really made me decide that teaching was going to be my career. I don't know where he is now. I think he's already retired, but he was the last person that made that tick in the box and said, this is what you're going to become. And I really want to recognize those people and say thank you to them at this stage for really modeling what a teacher should be, and so forth. What keeps me going? What drives me? It is that tomorrow is a new day. That drives me. Tomorrow has got something new. You know, the Bible says that every grace is new every morning. And I always strive to work towards a new beginning. Because you must always be better than the day before. And that is very important to me. That if yesterday was not such a good day, I must really prepare myself to be a better person tomorrow. Because that is going to make whoever comes in contact with me also want to strive to have a better day. I tried this in the mornings now when we have to sanitize the children. It's going to be a lovely day. And that's enough. People don't always believe you because it's not always going to be a lovely day. You're going to have hiccups in the day. But you must try to get in the habit of claiming that goodness of that day, to claiming whatever is new, whatever graces is new, whatever mercies is new, whatever something extra you can give, you need to give. Because I think it's Mother Teresa that said, we can't all do great things, but we can do small things with love. Everything should start with a smile, because a smile is the beginning of love. Now, what does it mean to the children of Ocean View when you are in a positive mood? You know, there are so many hardships, so many difficulties that our children go through nowadays that you don't know with what baggage the child comes to school. And maybe it is just your motivation, your smile that will drive that child. Because if you have nothing to offer to anybody, then the smile is sometimes enough. Because then it takes away the clouds. It takes away the heavy thoughts. It takes away the difficulty that child comes to school with. It takes away that heaviness that the child carries with him. Because we don't know each other. We don't know what they bring to school. And for me, as a teacher, as an educator, as a person, I need to make the learners feel at home. What do I love about what I do? Now, let me just go back a little bit. When I was in matric, I was a geek. I studied like crazy. And you know what? I was on the way of being a very successful matriculant at Ocean View High School in 1983. But it wasn't to be. So I got sick in 1983 in my matric year. During the first paper, on the day of the first paper that I had to write. It was devastating. I was so ready. And then I didn't get to the exam room because I was at Fallsby Hospital. And I was then told that I had a mild stroke. And I was paralyzed on my right-hand side. I could still move my hands and my feet and my leg, but I couldn't write like a normal person. Therefore, I had a result at the end of my matric year as an incomplete. So now, for me to come to school on the day of the results, of the matric results, I am reliving that day, because for me it was the most difficult time in my life. Not having to see your name in the paper and not having fun with the learners who have passed results. But nothing stopped me from doing it again. So, is it a failure? Am I a failure? Never. Because you know what I did? After I recuperated for a whole year, and after writing an exam, sub-exam, I was successful again. So a failure is just an obstacle to make you understand that you actually can do better. And I think I didn't get the result that I wanted because I couldn't write properly yet. But I passed my matric, even though it was the second time around. So there is no such thing in school as being a failure. It just means that you need to do it over again. And that is what teaching is about. Let's do it again. You always hear at primary school, let's say that again. Let's do it again. And that's what it's all about. Let's do it over. So, how did I come around that obstacle? I worked, and I worked hard, because I had to now rewrite. I had to now learn to walk again properly. I remember there were times when I came down to school and a bus came past and I fell over because I couldn't stand on my one leg. It was difficult. It was really frustrating. At the moment, I am a grade 8 and 9 mathematics teacher. I'm also the head of the department mathematics at the high school. So it comes with hard work. It comes with lots of work most times, but it is rewarding. You know, when you see that you have unlocked the child's mind with a problem, that gives me satisfaction. To know that now I have opened up a new world to this child, and the child can understand. Sometimes they don't say it, but you can see it in the eye that I have entered into a new world, a concept that I couldn't understand, and now suddenly I do. And that is what drives me. That is what makes me come back. Even if it's sometimes difficult to teach mathematics to learners who don't want to learn mathematics, because, sir, what am I going to do with mathematics if I am not going to do, if I'm not going to become a teacher, or if I'm not going to become a doctor, or, you know. But there are so many other things where you're going to need mathematics. I always tell them, listen, you're going to have a home one day of your own, and you will have to work out your own budget. So you need maths. You need to be able to have that skill. I allow each educator in the department to have a freedom to grow and to develop and to contribute. Because in this day and age, everybody has got skills. Some people have better skills than others. So why not use all the skills for the betterment of the department, so that each person can feel acknowledged and feel that he or she is worth something. But most of all, one as a leader has to be honest. You have to be trustworthy. You have to be transparent. You have to be clear in your expectations too. Because if they don't know what you want, you might just get something that you don't want. But you must be open to criticism and opinions. You must be sincere regarding people's opinions. It's important that you set a good example also. Because it's no sense wanting one thing and doing another. So setting a good example for me all throughout is very. Somebody said one time to me, he said to me one time, charity begins at home. Yes? Charity is all over. Because there are many people that go through difficulties that we are not aware of. There's needs. If you can't see the need of other people, then you know it's not worth being in a position. Success in education, I think it's a relative term, because that success is not readily available. It is not visible immediately. It will not be visible immediately. It only comes with time. It only comes with time, because what I invest today in a child, in a learner, might never be realized. And that's the sad part of it. But on the other hand, if I reach that child, and many other teachers reach that child to such an extent that I can get in his mind, get in his head, to change his way of life, to change his circumstances, and become successful, then I have achieved a lot. I have moved the world. And that is a massive goal that I think each teacher strives towards, to move the child's world into something new. I must start by sowing that seed of success. And that seed needs to be nurtured by each one in that child's life. From school to home, from home to society. If there is just one aspect that is lacking, then that child can be derailed. And that's important. So our children are battling a war out there, and they need encouragement. They need people to stand behind them and to encourage them, to people who live and model what they are saying. And that is what makes it difficult for us as educators. We need to model what we say, so that they in turn can model what they see, so that they can have a better chance in life. There's so many hardships in Ocean View itself that we don't see how they are going to navigate it on their own. They cannot use their friends, because their friends is in the same difficulty. So they need us. They need the adults of this place to help navigate their lives. It's not going to be easy, but it's going to be a time for them to sit back and just think back. Right? So, how do you cope then? How do you cope as a child? You need to do something, start something like a sport or a club where you can feel that you belong. People with the same ideas. Of course, it can be negative also, but you need to focus on that is positive. You must do the good. Not like St. Paul says, the good I want to do, I don't do, but the bad I don't want to do, that I do. You need to do the good. Focus on what is good. So you can take a sport. When the sports open again, take up a sport. I take myself as an example. I was so bored going to my son's sport, because I always try to encourage him, go to his rugby matches. But for me, of course, I am very competitive. So I continued. I got my green belt, then I got my blue belt, then I got my brown belt. And then I thought, oh my goodness, one more. Can I do it? Can I? And it was tough for me, because I was almost 50 that time. I was 49. And my sensei Noel said, you can do it. You can do it. I tried out for my black belt. I studied hard. It's tough. It's tough, I'm telling you. There's no shortcuts. And I failed my first time, because my uki, the guy who helped me, he was too heavy. I couldn't lift him, it fell on my face. I had to suck my chicken with a straw for 2 weeks. Anyway, so the next year, I could go again, and I made it. With judo, it's got two principles. Mutual benefit. You have a person you grapple with, so you have mutual benefit. You must use your uki. Both of you must benefit. That's the first principle. The second principle is minimum effort, but maximum benefit. Minimum effort, maximum benefit. In other words, if somebody attacks you, you use that effort, that effectively attacks you, and you use evading tactics to score points. So those are the two principles. It becomes then a way of life. So what life throws at you, if I use the judo principle, what life throws at you, you must evade. You don't have to fight it, but try to evade. Just give way to the issue. Just give it time. Take a breath. And then you look at it and you attack it from a different angle. Because that's what judo is about. Different angles, different ideas. Not how many times you fall, but it's how many times you get up. My sensei had a saying before we go to SA championships. He always had the saying, he says, if you go to the SAs and you get beaten on the mat, if you can walk off that mat, then you're the winner. Then you're the winner. You can lose, you can win, but don't be broken. And it's not always the fall that will break you. It is what goes on in the mind that breaks you. Because not many people can take failure. Not many people can take disappointments. So I want to say to the children of Ocean View, failure is an option. The society teach you there, outside there, that failure is no option. Failure is an option. Because if you fail, you can always make it right. So, failure should not be a point in your life where you say, from here on, I cannot go any further. It should be a point in your life where you can strive to become better. If I have to lose everything today, everything that I have, everything that I've worked for, if I had to lose everything, it would be, of course, a shock to the system. Because we hold on to so many things in life that is just not real. But if we think of my life's philosophy says that you came into this world with nothing. You cannot take anything out of this world. I think it's just a point to start again. You need to start again. You need to know, where am I going to start doing it over? Because you can do over. It is important that you need to know who you are. You need to find yourself, and you need to know how you're going to do and do it over. Of course, there are certain things that when you lose it, you never get it back. But the grace is new every morning. So if I experience these difficulties, if I would experience these difficulties in my life, it will not make a difference to me. It will not make a difference as to what kind of person I'm going to be. Because you can't change and be another person. You will still be you. It is how you're going to tackle it. It's the positiveness that you have to now envisage. People have to see, if you want people to see, they have to see that you are a survivor. You can overcome. If it's material things, it can be replaced. If it is spiritual things, then it can only be strengthened by your faith, because your faith will carry you through, and your belief to overcome will get you there. Find a good role model. Find somebody that you can anchor yourself to and say, please help. Shout for help, because it's important that we open up. Because if we carry these loads inside of ourselves, it eats you. It eats at your spirit. And if your spirit is gone, the body is lifeless. So, learners, children should find good role models that they could model their lives by. Because if you look at our society nowadays, you know who the people look towards as being their models, then I fear that, you know, it's going to be a different life that we see for them. But I trust God that somebody will get and speak to them, get in their minds, and that's my job and every teacher's job to build on these ideas that children can have good role models, and they are very good role models in this community that people can follow. Where do I see Ocean View in the next 30 years? It's a hard question. Things have changed dramatically since 1982, or even before, when I started coming here to visit. There are so many negative things that we see around Ocean View now. Pockets of people with differences, pockets of issues that shouldn't be here. Things that our learners, our youngsters, our young people, our community is afraid of, like the gangs and the drugs and everything that goes with it. That shouldn't be part of a society where you want to see happy people. And that was never part of a society of Ocean View. So how do I now inspire my grade 8 learner to look beyond 30 years and say, there is where I'm going to be, and this is what I want to be? How do I do that? It's very difficult to motivate learners, especially if they become part of this, especially if they see nothing wrong with this, because they may be not getting the proper friends that can guide them in a positive direction. But I want to say to each young person that hears this, that you need to start realizing your self-worth. First of all, you must realize that you are worth something. You are worth much more than what your friends might say, or what people might have said to you already to break you down. You are much more than that. You are a human being. You have skills, you have potential. You have people that can help you. Don't let your society, don't let your street that you live in, don't let your community, don't let your friends dictate your circumstances. You can rise above that. You can become the person you want to be, other than what people say you can become. Don't let society dictate what you're going to become. It's very important. To the young people out there, you must appreciate your youth. There are people that today are longing to have the youth that you have, that have the type of life that you could have, because they might not have had it so easy. They might have gone to work at a very young age to keep the pot cooking, to keep the home going. They have missed their youth. Appreciate your youth, young people. Become the healthy persons, the healthy of mind people, the good people, the people that can work in uplifting our communities. Because it is you that we as teachers work and try and strive to help to become better pillars in this community. Because without you, in 30 years' time, this place will be no more. We need you to start sitting up and focusing on that which is positive. It's very important. Young people have the potential to make this place the Ocean View we want to see as old people. A safe place, free of the evils that are prevalent today.